All right, so it's May 18th again, 2020. I'm in my car because it's kind of drizzling out and it's too windy out underneath some of these gazebo type places. But, I wanted to share one other thing about that fateful day on May 18th, 1989 in Beijing. It's what's interesting about that whole 50-day ordeal, right? From April 22nd, 23rd, all the way to June 3rd, June 4th, just the protesting and all that. It's one of the few times in my life that I can remember events. And one of the days I can remember is 1989, May 18th, because I remember Li Peng and several other leaders met in the Great Hall of the People with Wu Kaishi and Wang Dan, the two of the three leading students. And of course, Li Peng, he sounded like he was very respectful, but the whole purpose was to stop them from the hunger strikes and just go back to school, shut up, and just do what you're supposed to do. Now, of course, for the students, what's interesting is I went to the school of Wu Kaishi and Chailing. Those were two of the leading students, went to the school that I was learning Chinese at. I didn't meet them, had many opportunities. I stayed away from them because I didn't get involved with the student protests. But obviously I was praying about the whole situation. But one of the things I want to share is from 1 Peter, and this is important to understand. And I'm reading here from the classic amplified version of the Bible because it embellishes, and kind of shows a little different angle on the Greek language. But let me read it and then I'll explain here. It says here in 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 13, beginning there, it says, "Be submissive to every human institution and authority for the sake of the Lord, whether it be to the emperor or as supreme, or to governors as sent by him to bring vengeance, punishment, justice to those who do wrong, and to encourage those who do good service." Verse 15, "For it is God's will and intention that by doing right, your good and honest lives should silence, muzzle, gag the ignorant charges and ill-informed criticisms of foolish persons." Now look at this verse, verse 16, live as free people, yet without employing your freedom as a pretext for wickedness, but live at all times as servants of God. Verse 17 then, show respect for all men, treat them honorably, love the brotherhood, the Christian fraternity of which Christ is the head, reverence God, honor the emperor. And if you notice in there, and this is very similar to Romans chapter 13, is that yes, it's true that we're not to have, insurrections and armed rebellions against, the state and, and even the protesting to a certain degree. We've got to be very careful and, to show respect and honor to the leaders. But that day it was ugly. It was ugly because of the Communist Party, but it was also ugly because of the arrogance of the students in not respecting the leaders. So it was a case example of the dictatorial power of the Communist Party, knowing they have all the guns and the ammunition, and then the students thinking they've got some kind of power because of, student protests and the numbers, millions of people protesting, media people from all over the world covering it. But you could see this is a confrontation here. And when I watched it live on television there in China. Of course, I understand Mandarin Chinese. And I was very, very disappointed in the students showing disrespect for the leaders. Oh, obviously Li Peng and even the message that would have been sent by Deng Xiaoping, just stop the protesting, stop the hunger strikes, and just go back to school, shut up. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is that they need Jesus Christ. But as it relates to, the leadership, yeah, they've got their part in Romans 13. They've got their part in 1 Peter 2. And that's to punish those who do evil and to reward those who do good. And when a government like China is rewarding those who do evil continually and punishing anyone that tries to do good, their days are numbered. And that's my message, is that I continue to pray, and there's already some rifts. And I don't have time to go through all the geopolitical, but be rest assured that Xi Jinping, the leader of China now, and Wang Qishan, there's some problems between them. And then there's also issues between the military. And this has been my prayer, is that it needs to be an internal struggle. And then, like Daniel chapter 2, verse 21 talks about, that God, under those circumstances, he removes kings, he removes leaders, and puts others in charge. And I can only pray that God give them the grace and wisdom to base their new constitution on the Bible. Yeah, like the U.S. Constitution. Now, we need to get back to it. Sometimes we really just need to enforce what's there. And I say enforce, meaning implementing the constitutional rights and privileges for American people. And then we can be an example to the world. But I do pray that for China, that they would have an opportunity to put together a constitution that would be based on the Bible. So that's my prayer for China. And then that the gospel would spread in China. We don't force people to believe in Jesus Christ. But like I like to say, that people always like to use the expression, oh, you can't legislate morality. No, that's not true. Somebody's morality is legislated. And as it relates to a constitution, somebody's constitution dictates what is right or wrong. And it needs to be based on the Bible. That's the only true standard, is God's holy word. So with that, I'll sign off. And thank you, Jesus, for this lilac bush. And thank you for the beautiful smell of the lilacs.